All righty. So welcome to Redox Nurse Talk. We are both RNs. I'm Doria Stewart from Atlanta, Georgia, and Cindy Reed, my partner, is from Nashville, Tennessee. We are independent associates with a global research cellular health company called ASEA. Our mission is to educate the public with a technology called redox signaling molecules and how you can incorporate this into your lifestyle. So we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. And what you're about to hear is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any medical health condition. So we have a few housekeeping rules. During the presentation, we ask that if you're up moving around, to turn your video off, as some of us, especially me, can get a little distracted, while we're talking. So we would appreciate that. Each week, we have the honor to have a guest that has been impacted by this health technology. And so tonight we have Mike Beverly. Cindy will be introducing him and interviewing him after you see a video on what this technology is all about. So in this presentation, we highlight our flagship product called ASEA. We have this in a form of redox signaling molecules, which comes in a liquid form and a gel. But our company has other products that work synergistically. And so each week we give like a little health nugget, or we also introduce you to some of our products. So this evening, I wanted to share about Source, and I did a couple weeks ago talk about Source, mainly about the vitamin B complex in Source. And when I was doing a little bit of research, I realized, and I don't know if you can see this or not, I can kind of turn it around, I guess. Let me come this way with it. The original name was called Core. And then they decided to change the name to Source, as all the ingredients reflect their origin. It contains vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, organic superfoods, trace minerals, and enzymes working together to support cellular health and general wellness. The source of the ingredients are formulated to complete the ASEA redox for better absorption and bioavailability. There's a process. Each vitamin and mineral goes through a process called glycoprotein fermentation, making the vitamins more stable and bioavailable. It includes both macro and trace marine minerals from red algae. It contains 8 essential B vitamins. It's 100% vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free, and 100% plant cellulose capsules. How much food? I've just got, how much food would it take for us to equal one daily serving of Via Source? So, we would have to consume 2 cups of fresh fruits, 1 cup of sea vegetables, 2 cups of leafy green vegetables, 4 ounces of grass juice, half a cup, of healthy oils, and over 20 bioavailable food-based vitamins and minerals. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if I'd be drinking grass juice or even know where to get sea vegetables. But our source for capsules equals to all of that, which I just mentioned. I did a little study. I went on to Amazon and I looked at some of the ingredients that are in our source, and to share and to name some of these and tell you how much it costs. I was just tell you that now. Is vitamin A supplement costs about $18, B complex $14, vitamin C is about $23, vitamin D is $20, mineral supplement is $24, green supplements $22, berry supplement is $21, red algae is $35, a total of $179 per month to take all those vitamins. And you can have Source for $1.83 per day, or $50 to $5 per month, which, I would choose this instead. So these are just building materials that allows our body to function at full capacity. So it's a great nutritional supplement. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, thank you, Doria, for that. That's very educational. And when you break it down to the cost, and not to mention all the different bottles you would have to manage, that's pretty amazing. So to explain this technology for anyone who has not been exposed to this or introduced to this, I'm going to show a short video. And I like the way Doria talked about this is the building blocks. So That's the building blocks. And when you watch this video, you're going to see the workers with those building blocks. So give me just a minute.
Hello, my name is Alan Noble and welcome to RailRedoxResults.com. On this website, you have access to lots of videos of real people sharing real results that they've experienced using ASEA's advanced redox signaling technology. You can simply browse through the videos or pick a particular subject that is important to you. However, if this is your first introduction to ASEA, then allow me to give you a brief overview so you can better understand why people are experiencing such amazing results. ASEA Redox represents a cutting-edge health and anti-aging technology, a new category in science that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. A technology that many experts are calling the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. A great place to start is to get clear on what ASEA Redox is not. It is not a vitamin, a mineral, antioxidant, exotic juice, essential oil, or CBD oil. In fact, this technology goes beyond nutrition and ingredients, and yet can impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. For many people, ASEA Redox is the missing link to better health and vitality. To grasp this breakthrough, you must understand that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells pass tremendous amounts of important information throughout the body. Any breakdown in this communication, in this signaling, and you cannot achieve your full health potential. A simple example, your home goes on fire and you call the fire department. They have the fire truck, firefighters, fire hose, everything they need to put out the fire. However, if you don't have a good cell signal, they don't get the message and your home goes up in flames. Well, it's the same in your body. If your cells can't signal, then little else matters. ASEA Redox is the world's first redox signaling supplement that harnesses the power of the same redox signaling molecules that your body uses for this critical signaling process. This astonishing technology with 2 delivery systems, the ASEA Redox drink and the topical gel, Renew 28, has been validated by third-party independent science, and thanks to multiple patents, there is nothing else like it in the world. In a recent independent 8-week study with Torre Laboratories, a leading genetic research lab, it was found that drinking ASEA Redox could increase important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, impacting 5 major areas of health: immune function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular and digestive health, as well as hormone balance. So at this point, let's take a listen to what health and medical professionals are saying about ASEA's redox signaling technology.
Inside every cell in your body, you're constantly producing negative and positive molecules called oxidants and reductants. And the contraction of that name is redox.
So with these molecules, we're amping up that communication. We're helping that cell signal.
Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply wouldn't do the gene replication that we need, the DNA sequencing that we need. These redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know.
Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes. The more balanced they are, the more abundant they are, the healthier we are.
ASEA actually has the combination of the oxidants and the reductants that the body makes. So all we're doing with ASEA is enhancing what the body is already doing.
Having a product, a technology that's native to the body doesn't have to worry about detoxifying it because it knows exactly what to do with redox molecules. It's one of, if not the safest recommendation I ever make to a patient.
They found a way to stabilize them.
outside the body. And you can actually put them back into bodies that are deficient in those molecules. That's a game changer.
To have something that at its molecular level is native to the body is nothing short of a breakthrough.
This is something that's foundational for health, for every cell. It affects every cell in our body. And not just the cells, but the very DNA within those cells. You know, we talk about the discovery of DNA as being a huge breakthrough, the discovery of penicillin. Yes, these were absolutely huge discoveries, but now we have something that actually goes even deeper.
Redox signaling molecules are like the DNA whisperer. They signal cells to be healthy. And because of age, because of medications, because of toxicity in the environment, you lose your ability to make the redox signaling molecules. So having them with a SIA simply replenishes what your body is doing natively when you were young. You know, I've been in the business for 40 years, and this is the first time that I've ever heard about the redox signaling molecules, which to me is a breakthrough of the 21st century, akin to the electric light bulb in the 20th century and maybe even the discovery of penicillin. Because your body is a redox signaling program, and to be able to replenish it on a day-to-day basis, internally and externally, is not just a breakthrough, it's a game changer.
So as you can hear, ASEA Redox truly is being hailed as the most significant health science breakthrough of our lifetime. And it's not just health. Casual athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. In a recent university study, mice drinking ASEA for only 7 days ran 29% further to exhaustion due to significant metabolic shifts as their body started to burn more fat as fuel. And I'm sure you've heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, this same technology, when applied to the skin, results in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging, all while using the body's natural renewal processes. I want to thank you for taking some time and watching this brief overview. I would now encourage you to explore some of the other videos featuring people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing over the last year or so. Real people sharing real redox results. This is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and bye for now.
Okay, that was our short little video. I know our guest is going to talk probably about both sides of the technology, one about the physical and the health benefits as well as the business benefits. But what Dory and I like to do with this and with our Zoom, not only share the education about the technology, but to show how simple this is to do. So you pick a video. We usually use the same one, but we do mix it up every now and then, and you just press play and people watch and you just talk or you share a tool. So it's very, I won't say it's easy, but it's simple. But anyway, our guest tonight is Mike Beverly, and I have not met Mike face to face in person, but I've heard a lot about him and we've talked on the phone, and just a real impressive guy. So he is our speaker for tonight. He is from Fruitland Park, Florida, which I've never heard of the little town, but it sounds precious and quaint. Mike has 20 years of experience in business and sales, plus 20 years of teaching as a professional. Mike's heart, body, and mind have the desire to share strategies that have turned his health and life around for the past 4 years. He strives to help people dealing with chronic pain resolve those issues so that they can participate in events and experiences that bring them joy and happiness again. His true passion is to be an example for the people that he leads and to become a beacon of hope for all who desire to reach their true potential in life and business. As a teacher, many of his students have become professional musicians or educators themselves. Mike was also a student and instructor at the Dale Carnegie System of Public Speaking and Sales for 3 years. Today, he leads a group of global entrepreneurs with a passion to educate the public about alternative modalities of health and wellness. Mostly, he loves his precious wife, Anna, and they spend time traveling and enjoying their family and friends, and especially the grandkids, who they get to spoil as much as possible. And I can relate to that. Unfortunately, mine are not nearby, but when I get a chance to see them, I do, and I do spoil them. So let me turn this over to Mike. And Mike, if you'll just share with us what drew you to this technology.
Well, it was actually by accident, but I know it wasn't. It was the thin threads that God sown throughout my life and some other people's lives that brought it to me. But I just wanted to hitchhike on your statement about the grandkids. There's a bumper sticker you used to buy. I haven't seen it recently, but you could see it back 20, 30 years ago. The bumper sticker said, if I'd have known grandkids were this much fun, I'd have had them first. And I need to get that T-shirt, I think. But at any rate, I happen to be good friends with an author named Chris Widener. And for any of you who have not heard that name, Chris Widener's Widener. Chris Widener spent the last 9 years of Jim Rohn's life, and everybody's heard Jim Rohn. They traveled the world together, doing seminars and gold plating events and things of that nature. And they also wrote a book together. They co-authored a book called The 12 Pillars. And I built a large network back in the mid 80s to mid 90s of about 20,000 people, and had representatives. It was just a U.S. company, but we had reps from California to Maine, all over, and just a very thriving organization and big network business going. And we'd hire Chris to come and speak at some of our events here in Florida, and we hired him to go to our national event in New Orleans one time. And he called me in December of 2019 and asked me if I wanted to be in his mastermind coaching program. And I'd been in a very negative rut for about 8 years, maybe 10. I had not read a good positive book. I had gotten away from my Bible study that I used to do. I was in a men's Bible study group. I got away from that. And my wife knew that I was in a negative spiral that was not going to go ultimately to the right place. And the day that Chris Widener called me to ask me if I wanted to be in his mastermind coaching program, my wife, who rarely came to my office, was there that day. And Chris said, Mike, have you decided if you want to be in the mastermind? And I decided I wasn't going to do it, not because of the money, because it was not a low cost investment to be in his coaching program. It was a lot of money. It wasn't because of the money. It was because I did not want to grow. I was very happy being negative and being miserable. I also was just negative. Just that's the best way you can describe me. Negative, negative, negative. And my wife probably wasn't a big fan of mine, and probably I think that's why she prayed a lot for me back in those days. So that day, when Chris Widener called me, he said, Mike, I was just calling you to see, because we have just a couple more spots in our mastermind group, wanted you to be a part of it, but what are you thinking? I said, oh, you'll never believe, Chris, Anna's here. Would you like to speak to her? And he actually, I think, likes my wife better than he likes me. So he said, yeah, let me talk to her. So we put him on speakerphone, and they were having just a good old time catching up and reminiscing about when we first started hosting him at our events at our previous company. And so at any rate, they finished up their conversation, and it came back to me and my decision. So Anna was mouthing to me, mute the phone, mute the phone. So I muted the phone, Chris is talking, and then this is what she's mouthing to me. You need to do this. She's saying that, okay? And so and I could tell that it was heartfelt, and she knew I needed to do it. We didn't know what was coming the next 2 or 3 months, but she knew I needed to do this so that I could grow. I didn't want to be vulnerable, because when you go to a coaching mastermind program, you have to be open and vulnerable. You have to be willing to grow. and I wasn't ready to do that. But my wife knew I needed it, and there's a reason that God sent her there that day to my office, which she rarely came to, right? So I said, okay, Chris, I'll do it. Gave him my credit card, and I'm in his mastermind coaching program. 20 minutes after he called me, he made another phone call to another gentleman that a lot of people have heard this name when I mention it. He had decided that he wasn't going to do the coaching program either. That gentleman's name is Ed Weens. But that day, for some reason, he said, I don't know what came over me, but I just decided after I decided not to do it, that I was going to do it. I mean, this all happened within a 30-minute period. So then we went along, got through the end of the year, got into the coaching program. And then on March 14th, they carried me out of my home on a gurney after 3 days of massive internal bleeding, where I lost approximately one doctor guessed 55% of my blood. The nurse, who I trusted more, and nurses are always, you know, their heart's always there. They're looking out after patients more so, I think, than doctors do sometimes. And I'm not trying to disparage doctors because we need them, but the nurse said, Mike, as much blood as you've lost, I would estimate it's about 60% of your blood, because I was in and out of a coma, and it was bad, really bad. Because when they carried me out of here on that gurney and I saw the fright in my wife's eyes, I never thought I would return alive. So any rate, one thing led to another. The second night in the hospital, my bleeding mysteriously stopped at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, all I can say is I believe it was the grace of God and God's blessing that stopped that bleeding, because they couldn't stop it. Turns out, I learned later that I was given a blood thinner 2 months earlier, very dangerous one, that caused internal bleeding, and they ultimately had to take it off the market because it did cause so many fatalities from, guess what? Internal bleeding. And they knew when I got in the hospital they couldn't stop my bleeding, because they offered a blood transfusion, but they had also told me, we don't think this will stop it. You know, we'll get your hemoglobin back up, but we don't think this will stop the bleeding. And they knew the medication I was on, they knew they couldn't stop it, but the good Lord did. And because he knew he had more in store for me, I didn't know what, but about 2 weeks later, I'm finally getting to the point where I can hold up my phone in bed and say, guys, I'm on a Zoom call with this mastermind group. Please pray for me. I don't know how long I can stay awake because I'm very anemic. Please pray for me. Any rate, Ed Weens just happened to be on that call. Well, about a week later, 8 of these blue bottles showed up on my doorstep. And I'm ashamed to tell you this part of the story. I called Ed Weens up and I said, Ed, what is this? He said, it's a new health technology that really turned my wife's health around and probably saved her life 5 or 6 years ago. And I think it will help you. I said, is this network marketing or multi-level marketing? And he said, yes, that's how they do it, word of mouth marketing. And I said, well, with all due respect, I appreciate your kindness. I have a UPS account. I will be sending it back to you tomorrow. And he said, please don't do that. You'll never get a call from me recruiting you or trying to convince you should do network marketing or multi-level marketing. I truly believe this will help you in your health challenge you're dealing with right now. So I'm forever grateful that he wouldn't let me send it back. But I didn't want to do network marketing because of some things that happened with our previous network that I didn't want to deal with ever again. But I started using the product. And I spoke with his wife, Rebecca, who said, Mike, as anemic as you are, you should probably do 12 ounces a day. Normally it's 4 ounces, but you should do 12 because you're very highly anemic. So I did that. And in 5 days, I went from being bedridden, sleeping 18 to 26. One day I slept 26 hours in a row. And so that was my average sleep time, 18 to 26 hours over a couple-week period. and I was getting very depressed. In 5 days of drinking 12 ounces, I got up and walked downstairs without the aid of my son and my wife for the first time in 2 or 3 weeks. 6 weeks later, I went in for follow-up blood work. When I got out of the hospital, my hemoglobin was 6.5. Now, you nurses know that's not a good thing. And my iron was drastically low as well. But in 6 weeks of drinking 12 ounces a day, I went in for blood work. My hemoglobin was 13.9. My iron levels were perfect, but I didn't have to hear those numbers from the doctors. I felt better than I had felt in 50 years. And I was 67 then. I'm 70 and a half now. And today, not only did I do 5 personal business Zooms, I went out and rode my bike for about 10, 12 miles. I did 50 crunches and 25 military style push-ups, and I'm 70 and a half. Okay. So, and here's the truth. I could not have done that 30 years ago. Could not have done it 30 years ago. So I am forever grateful that Ed Weens did not let me send the product back. And I'm also forever grateful that the number of people, I got a call last Tuesday from a friend of mine who had a major, major health crisis. It's got an awful name to it that everybody's heard, but it's those damaged mutated cells, and his was at stage 4. And for over 2 years now, he's had none of that in his body. And so he called me to thank me for telling him about this. And I almost didn't call him. So, you know, we have a miracle technology that everything has been orchestrated. I mean, the time, the energy, the money that was spent researching this technology and these molecules, and how it was so impossible to duplicate them, they thought, but someone very brilliant figured it out. But you know, the best explanation that I've heard, I was on a Zoom a couple of weeks ago with a chiropractic student at a chiropractic school, and he said, "So you're telling me we lose these molecules as we age?" I go, "Yeah." I said, "It's like the cell phone. If you don't have 5 bars on your cell phone, let's say you have 2 bars on your cell phone, you and I are probably not having a really decent conversation." So he was listening, and he'd watched the video that you all just saw. And he said, "So I think I got this. So if we don't have a good supply of redox molecules, our immune system can't communicate to fix things that are wrong in our bodies." I go, you got it. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. I said, that's exactly what these molecules do. And this is for the first time in human history, now we can replenish these redox molecules so that our bodies can be at top-notch cellular communication and have good cellular balance all the time. So that's my story, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sticking to it.
That's awesome, Mike. I had not heard the whole story, so that's pretty amazing. And like you said, God puts people in our paths for a reason. I just have a couple of questions, and then Doria will have some. And if you have questions, just put it in the chat, and Mike can address those as well. So, Mike, you obviously do the business, even though you said you weren't doing this, right?
Yeah.
How many times have we heard that from people? But again, and it's up to each person. We don't pressure anyone. This is not a high stress, pushy type. This is not a network marketing company. First of all, it's a research and development company. We just happen to use the tool of network marketing to spread the technology. So, Mike, when you are sharing this with people and you run across people that tell you no, how do you handle the no's?
I just say, I appreciate, I mean, there a lot of times when I'm communicating on social media, because I have a little technique I use on Facebook, and people will go, "No, thank you." And this is what I say: "Thank you for the no," with a big exclamation point and a happy face. Because, you know, it's their prerogative. Because my only goal and passion is to educate people about it. What they do with it is strictly up to them. It really is. And I got to tell you, The last 2 weeks, I've gotten 17 no's, but 3 yeses. So who cares? I mean, I care that the people are rejecting the information because they don't know what they don't know. And ultimately, their bodies that don't have the redox signaling molecules that a lot of us have in our bodies, their bodies is going to, they're going to realize it. They're going to realize it. And I'm sad for them that they're not open-minded enough to find out how powerful and how necessary these are to every human body. And that's my sad. That's the saddest part of this, of what I'm doing, is the no's don't bother me. It's the people that are rejecting it because they don't know. If, it's the old saying, they don't know what they don't know. Because if they knew, they would be using this product.
Exactly. And I just wish we could get the world to realize that. So let's switch gears just for a minute. How would you describe the culture of our leadership or of our company?
The most amazing folks that I've ever been around, ever. And I'll give you a perfect example. The reason I was so opposed to network marketing is the company that I built to almost 20,000 people in my organization. And I was one of those $1 million earners in that company. But the owner died, and the younger offspring of that owner took over, and greed set in. Not only did greed set in, but the caring and passion that Dad had for all of us, not just the leaders of the company, but everybody. I mean, he would spend hours in walking down the hallways of conventions, shaking and taking pictures with just a brand new person. He was that loving and compassionate. But when the other person took over, it was a different ball game. And then when things started going the wrong way, instead of asking leaders to come in and discuss things and figure out what we could do to change or improve, it was like we got treated like pariahs. And so, when I hear of Tyler Norton bringing in 50 or 60 people a couple of weeks ago because he wanted to hear from them what was going on in the field, what's the major concerns, what things do we need to address. That the original owner of the company I was with, that's the way things happen. But when the young daughter took over, it was that way. And that was her prerogative to do that. But when we started getting treated so badly, because I decided to go back to an old job that I had because I had to. And they treated me like I was trash, like dirt. And so that's why my wife and I said, we're never doing this again, ever doing this again. So when I get a hug from Tyler Norton every time I see him, no matter where I'm at, and for him to recognize me at a luncheon at the last convention and say, most network marketing companies, you'll see probably the 25 to 45-year-old crowd. We like the 70-year-old guys like Mike Beverly, and we're happy and blessed that he's here. So, I mean, here's a guy that's, running a $1 billion company and recognizing a 70-year-old senior citizen like me, but that's the respect that we get here. And it's just a whole, here, I'll give you another example of that, Cindy. I'm in Cancun 2 years ago in the pool with Trish Winkler, David Silverman, Debbie Wexler. And I said, David, what is so cool is I can call you. You're one of the top, actually the year before, he was the business builder of the year worldwide for the company. I said, I can call you and you will talk to me. And that wouldn't happen in any of the network marketing companies I've been in. I was in one company where you had to pay $5 or $10 to get your picture with an upline diamond there. It was like crazy. So I said, what is so amazing is, look, I'm in the pool with all these people that are spending time with me, and you'll take my phone call anytime I call you. And if you don't take it right away, you always call me back. And I said, that is so cool. He said, Mike, what we have here is too important for ego to ever get in the way of our mission. Now, he's not my upline. He's just a cross-line amazing leader and friend. So that goes to show you that the culture is not just at the corporate office, it's everywhere in this company. So that's why if you're not a part of the company, ultimately you will be, and you'll be proud to be affiliated with us all, because that's the way we operate. Cindy and Doria and I are not affiliated, but we help each other. I mean, Doria's taken calls for me for other nurses in the past, and she knows I do testimonial calls for her. Cindy the same way. Lou, anybody. And I want to say, Marion, your story last Friday night on the Redox 5 was a #1 box tops. I mean, like best selling. Oh my gosh. You hit it out of the park, girl.
That's so true, Mike. And I like what you said about corporate. It is about the people, not the profits. So, Dory, I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we'll address our questions in the chat.
Sure. So I just have a comment. So Mike, you said it took 5 weeks for your hemoglobin to stabilize.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay. So usually, I mean, in nursing, we usually tell our patients it takes 90 to 120 days for the hemoglobin to stabilize. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So I just wanted to share that. And then what does believe, belong, and become mean to you?
Well, obviously it was real easy to believe in the product when my health went from being bedridden to having my life back, and literally just 5 days. But I had nowhere to go but up. I was so bad, and so that's part of it. And then the belong part, and this was when we were in Cancun. They went around the room, had all of us say a little bit about what the company had meant to us. And my belong part, to answer that question, was what I said there was, I'd never been around an organization in any of my business endeavors. And I've been an entrepreneur, even when I was teaching band and, not making a whole lot of money, I always had side businesses to supplement our income. But I'd never been in an organization where so many people cared about me, my wife, and cared about not only our well-being, but our success. So that's the belonging part of me. And then what was the other one you mentioned?
Become.
Become, yeah. Well, that's at the last fly-in we did, I think it was last July, I got pretty emotional about that, because I said, a lot of times people say network marketing is a personal development program disguised as a business. And that's what it is. That's what it is. I have read more books in the last 3.5 years than I did the previous 12 years. So it's amazing. And the thing about it is, Jim Rohn, I assume everybody's heard Jim Rohn, that name. Okay. Jim Rohn says, you will be the person you're going to become in the next 5 years will be the books you read and the people you affiliate with. So, if you affiliate with people who are negative and you would rather go drink beer and play pool instead of doing something like this tonight, you know where you're going to end up. But it is true. It's, and my word for the year, I'm sure everybody's got one. I had two, but then I always have inspirations in the shower. My 2 words were new beginnings. And then in the shower one morning, about 2 weeks ago, I go, no, I want to evolve this year. I want to evolve into the best Christian, the best husband, the best business associate, the best friend that I can possibly be. That's what I want to do this year. So that's what I want to become, is I want to evolve into the best in all those areas.
Wonderful. That's great. So we have two questions in the chat. One says, what tool video do you recommend your new associates use when reaching out to people?
Well, it depends on the method of reach out. I've had some amazing success with Facebook reach outs. And if you don't know him, there's a guy named Simon Chan. Simon Chan was a successful, worked on Wall Street out of college, very brilliant Asian guy, worked on Wall Street. And then during the 08-09 economic crisis, he and his wife both, who were working on Wall Street, lost their jobs. And he got into network marketing. And actually, it might have been a little bit before that. Yeah, I think it was, because he only knew how to do AOL Messenger. So he was sending out messages on AOL chat, and over a period of 5 or 6 years, developed a 7-figure income doing it that way. He didn't know anybody other than, high-end clients that didn't want to hear about a network marketing company that was offering some nutrition products. So he did it all on AOL Messenger. So he has a technique that I learned. I went to some of his training things, and he has once a month, he has this thing for $25. It's called BYOB, and it's called Bring Your Own Business. And he guarantees that if you come to that 3-hour training on a Friday night, usually, that you'll end up getting between 5 and 10 qualified leads, because it's interactive. He makes you do what he's training you to do while you're on the training. So I learned how to do that. In the first year I was doing his stuff, I sponsored 37 people. And then I've trained several of my downline to do that. One of my gals in my downline, named Cindy Howe, out in Iowa, sponsored 22 her first 3 or 4 months and went bronze doing the same thing. And all it was, hey, Dory, I hope you're having a great 2023 thus far. May I ask you a question? And Dory would say, yes or no. She says, yes. Then you say this, you type this in. I'm working on something really exciting, may or may not be for you. Are you open to taking a look? Now, some of these people are people I knew, but a lot of them were strangers. They were just friends list, and I don't know how I became friends with them, but I did that technique, and in 1 year sponsored 37 people that way. And Cindy Howe was one of them. And then she did the same thing I did and sponsored 22 her first 6 months and went bronze. And now if we do it that way, I do this. I send out, watch this, and then if you want more information, type in capital MORE, and I put in redoxlife.com if I'm doing it that way. Now, today I had 4 Zooms with people on LinkedIn. I do a lot of work on LinkedIn. So I did 4 Zooms, and 3 of the people, when I said, are you at all interested in learning any more about ASEA, or at a minimum, how we might support each other here on the LinkedIn platform? Well, it's a yes or a yes. They're either going to say, yes, I'll support you, or yes, I want to know more about ASEA. So when those people say yes, I send them a little two-paragraph email that says, it's great chatting with you on LinkedIn today. Appreciate you sharing your story with me and listening to mine. Here is a website where you can get some great information about ASEA, discoverredox.com. Okay. And then I'll put in the Real Redox Results site as well for them to, if they want to hear some testimonials. But I don't do that if they've not scheduled a follow-up call or Zoom with me for 2 or 3 days or next week. So I'll say, what's your schedule looking like in the next few days or next week? And they'll say, well, I'm very busy. I say, okay, let's look at our schedules, book another Zoom time. where we can get back on so I can get your thoughts and get your impressions of the information I'm going to send you. If they're not going to book that with me, I'm not sending them anything. Because I want to have a follow-up book before I'm going to send them some information. Because if you send them some information without booking a follow-up, they'll be ghosting you. And I'm sure everybody's been ghosted before. And if you listen to anything from GoPro by Eric Worre, he teaches this. I call up Cindy. I say, hey, Cindy, I run across something pretty amazing. It's a breakthrough in health and wellness. I feel everybody deserves to hear about it. If I sent you a video that explains it, when could you look at it for sure? Cindy says, well, maybe tomorrow. I'd say, well, that's okay. I just wanted to know, though, what time tomorrow do you think you could look at it? Oh, 6 o'clock. Okay, cool. So if I call you back at 7 tomorrow evening, your time, you will have looked at it for sure, right? Okay. If she's not going to give me a time that she's going to let me call her back, for sure, I'm not sending her anything. Because if you send her something and she's not made a commitment to book you a follow-up call, they'll ghost you every time. You have to book the follow-up call. So they don't, this is a gift. Two things are a gift: my time and this technology. You've got to value your time and this technology enough to make them commit to a follow-up call. Otherwise, don't send them anything, because they'll ghost you. Raise your hand or put a Y in the comments if you've been ghosted before from stuff you've sent people. Okay. You can eliminate that. You can eliminate that, because if they're not willing to commit to when you can call them back, that they've watched the video for sure. I mean, Eric, if you listen to his training or listen to his Audible, he goes through and he says, okay, he makes them commit to that answer 3 times. For sure, for sure. When can you watch it? For sure, for sure. I mean, literally, I don't go that far, but I am firm about making them book a follow-up appointment, because it's that serious. Your time's too valuable, and this technology is too valuable to just throw it out there, because people won't take it seriously unless you have to be professional and kind and loving and polite and professional about it, but you have to do it if you want to get more stickability as far as people looking. That make sense?
It makes sense. I agree with you. I don't always do it, but I know I need to. I need to follow through. We have one more question in the chat. What are your and your wife's favorite products?
I'd say my wife's is probably Renew 28. Obviously the redox molecules are life-changing, but beyond that, I love the clay mask. You can, if you can see my forehead, 3 years ago, I had deep lines in my forehead.
I was just looking at yours. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that came from, I've been putting the Renew on every day after my shower. But we were one of the first people, I guess the Renew, the advanced skincare system, been out 2 years now. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got ours about 30 days before it hit the market. And so they sent us one each. And my wife said, well, you're going to have to do it. If I'm going to do it, you got to do it too. So I got hooked on it. Made my skin feel so good. I couldn't believe it. So, we both like that. But I'll tell you, these 2 items, those 2 little stick packs, I didn't have any idea when you put these 2 together what appetite suppressant properties are in when you put them together. They're wonderful. So 3 days a week, those 2 and this are my lunch. Yes, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, this is my lunch. Okay, I put about 16 ounces of water and ice in a big shaker thing. And last night at 7:30, my wife said, are you going to eat? I go, I'm not hungry. but I did this around noon. So these are really good. These are really good. But I've got a little bit more hair up top because I've been doing the collagen now since, I don't know when that came out, April last year, May? I can't remember when it came out. But yeah, and you know, so they're all wonderful, but obviously the redox molecules is the foundation for all of our overall health and wellness. But my wife, I would have to say, is probably Renew 28 because she for the first time in about 2 months, she went to the chiropractor today because she was having some back issues, and so I rubbed her down really good last night, and she just loves the Renew 28. Probably her favorite, but I would say other than the molecules and the Renew, probably those Cell Performance drinks and the clay mask. I love the way my face feels when I put that on. It's like, woo, I'm feeling a year younger every time I apply it.
Well, I've been looking at your face since you said that, and I was wondering, you don't look 70 and a half. You don't at all.
It's so funny. My college roommate, he's a year older than me, I hadn't seen him in 20 years. He came here last April and spent the night, actually 2 nights with us. And as soon as he saw me, as soon as he got out of his car and walked in, he goes, "Mike, you look amazing." I go, "Well, thank you, buddy." I said, "It's that Miracle Joy Juice I told you about." And he wouldn't even look before. And then our bedrooms are upstairs. We have 2 flights of stairs. Well, I bounded up the stairs. He hobbled up the stairs. Okay. So after hanging around with me for 2 days, he goes, "Okay, dang it, you got me. Where do I sign?"
Sometimes you have to see to believe with some of the results that we're having.
You do.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you coming on tonight so much. This has been so educational and enlightening and encouraging and just motivating from what you've accomplished with it, and a lot of good, helpful tips that you've given us tonight with what you've said. And I know you're a very busy person, so we do value that you're taking your time to do this tonight.
You're more than welcome. Let me just give 2 other things.
Sure.
Number one, everyone needs to get the Audible. And you can buy the book if you want to. I like doing both. I like reading. What my routine on a really good book that's got a lot of meat in it. So I like to read a chapter, listen to the chapter on Audible, and then read and listen to them at the same 3 times every chapter. And the book that I'm talking about that can change your life in network marketing and in life in general is Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire by Richard Bliss Brooke.
I have that one on Audible.
It is amazing. I've listened to it. You know who told me to listen to that?
Who?
Malcolm Sword.
Okay.
Ed Weens set up, when he came here in 21 with his 4 boys to Disney World, he set up a meeting with me, and I thought I was going to get 30 minutes with Mal. And he spent 2 hours with me. And he asked me this question. He said, "Mike, what dreams do you have?" And I said, "Malcolm or Mal, I don't know that I have any. I'm just so happy to be alive after what I've been through the last year." He said, "Well, I would recommend you get some dreams." And he said, "Are there any cars you'd like to drive?" And I said, "Well, yeah, there's plenty of cars I like to drive." He said, "Have you driven any that you like to have lately?" I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Well, here's your assignment. We were meeting at Disney World on a Saturday." He said, "Next Saturday, I want you to go drive the car that you'd like to have and have your wife do the same." And we did that. And about a year later, when we went gold, we drove my brand new Mini Cooper home, and it's in the garage right now. And he said, "Is there a home on the beach or a home in the mountains you'd like to have?" And we've always wanted to go live on the beach here in Florida. We live about 2 hours either way, to the West Coast or the East Coast. So the second weekend, we went and looked at $1.5 million homes on the water. Now, Didn't cost us anything to do that, but it helped kind of stoke up our dreamer a little bit. So I'd recommend you do that. But then he said, you got to listen to audibles every day, minimum of 1 hour a day if you want to succeed at this business. And so the first one he recommended was the one I've just recommended to you. And I'm re-listening to it again for the 12th time. And it's not just a listening book, it's a doing book. There's exercises. You got to stop, get a notebook, and do the exercises. And I'm telling you, it'll change your life. Whether you ever want to go to the top with this business or not, it's going to change your life and your perspective on life. So I recommend that. So that, and just get after it. Don't let anybody stop you. You know, go for it. Yes, it's some work, but the lives you can change. Everybody knows that we're in a weird time in world history right now. Very weird time. But, you know, I know the good man upstairs is in charge, and I know that we have a miracle product that can help people get through a lot of trials and tribulations, not only health-wise, but financially. So wish you all the best, and happy to share. Feel free to reach out anytime. And there's my buddy Barb that drove a gazillion hours to get down to our event and made our event a super success last Saturday. Or it was the last Saturday of the, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, Barb, for driving all that way.
Hey, my pleasure, Mike. It was an amazing event. And I would encourage you, whenever Mike does an event, make sure you get there.
Thank you.
I do have one last question. I think it's, they want to know how much you're drinking. That's the last question.
16 ounces a day. 16 ounces. I'll tell you why. I'm 70 and a half, so my body is only making 30% of what it did when I was a little boy. But my mother, all 4 of her sisters, their mother, and 22 of their aunts all died of Alzheimer's. Every one of them. There's like 30 of them. And that side of the family died of Alzheimer's. Okay. Everybody on my father's side of the family died of diabetes or heart attack. So I don't have the best gene pool. So that's why I'm doing 16 ounces a day. But I feel amazing. And now when they do my blood work, they tell me I look like I'm between 20 and 30. But I feel that way. And happy to drink. I probably would drink more, but 16 is probably the best for me. It's my sweet spot, you know. So anybody over 50 needs to be doing 8. I'm not trying to bump up volume or anything, but your body's only making 50% of what you did when you were born. So why not replenish it? And that's kind of the magic formula, I think, for people 50 and older. And then if you've got some health challenges, you might bump it up a little bit more. But I do 16 every day.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Mike. And if anyone has questions or needs more information about what you've seen tonight, reach out to the person that invited you to the Zoom, or reach out to one of us if you just happened across our website. Our passion is just to share and spread this technology. And like Mike said, you know, it's not about what you do with it. We just want you to know that it does exist, because there are different modalities out there that can help with our challenges. I'm going to turn it back over to Doria and let her introduce our guest for next week.
All right, so we have Coach Connie. I'm not sure what Connie's last name is. Do you know, Cindy?
Ooh, put me on the spot. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
she's going to be on
good.
next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then remember, we do upload this to we have a Redox Nurse Talk YouTube channel. So that's where all our videos are there. So you can listen to this again. I know I will as well. So again, thank you.
Thank you very much. And y'all have a great night, and we'll see you back next Tuesday.
Great interview. Thank you.